Hello, students. We are moving on to Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom, Part 3. Before going to this session, let's recollect the main points. Part 1. Apartheid, a political system that separates people according to their race. Nelson Mandela spent a lifetime fighting against apartheid. Finally, democratic elections were held in 1994 and Mandela became the first black president of a new nation. Inauguration ceremony was held in Union Buildings Amphitheatre in Pretoria. Mandela addressed the audience. He considered apartheid as an extraordinary human disaster and the democratic non racial government under a black president was a glorious human achievement. Part 2. The inauguration witnessed the display of pinpoint precision and military force, demonstration of military's loyalty to democracy. Highest commanders saluted Mandela but would have arrested him during white supremacy. Two national anthems were sung that symbolized equal rights for blacks and whites in the new government. In the first decade of the 20th century, there existed apartheid, but at the last decade of the 20th century, apartheid was replaced by rights and freedom for all. It produced men of extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity. South Africa is rich with gems and minerals, but the greatest wealth is its people, finer and truer than purest diamonds. Let's see what Nelson Mandela is going to be revealed in the next session. Mandela learned the meaning of courage from all the greatest nationalists like Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, Chief Luthuli, Yusuf Dadu, Bram Fisher, Robert Sobukwe. He had seen men and women risk their lives for freedom and tolerated ill treatment, but they never stopped fighting. From them, he learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph or victory over it. The man who overcomes his fear is brave. See the courageous people fighting for freedom. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. It's a remarkable quote of Mandela. Yes, no one was born hating or loving. You have learned to love and hate. If the people can learn to hate, it is easier for them to teach love because love comes more naturally to the human heart than hate. Students, please think about it. Which one comes easily to your mind? Is it love or hate? No doubt it is love as it comes easily and naturally. Mandela said that every individual has goodness within themselves. It may not be expressed all time, but still it exists in them. The example he said is one of the guards who showed a glimmer of humanity to Mandela and his comrades when they were in prison. In everyone's life, there are twin obligations, means two duties or responsibilities. Which are they? The first one is his obligations or duties to his family, to his parents, and to his wife and children. Which is the second one then? It's his obligations to his people, his community, his country. Generally, a person can maintain the balance between the two. But in countries like South Africa, it was not easy. Because when a black person would work for society, he would be arrested and taken away from his family. So he couldn't fulfill his duty to his family as a son, a brother, a father, and a husband. See the photos? With his family, with his people. Arrested and put in jail and taken away from his family. Mandela said that he was born free. He proved it with a few examples. Free to run in the field near his mother's hut, free to swim in the clear stream that ran through his village, free to roast mealies under the stars, ride the slow moving bulls. He was not troubled by the laws because he obeyed his father and followed the customs of his tribe. Gradually, he realized that his boyhood freedom was an illusion. By the time he became a young man, he discovered that his freedom had already been taken away from him. Then he began to hunger for it. He had a desire to get back his freedom. As a student, freedom means able to stay out at night, read what he pleased, and go where he chose. Later, as a young man, for Mandela, freedom means achieving his potential, of earning his keep, of marrying and having a family. Slowly, Mandela realized that not only he, but all his brothers and sisters were not free. Every black people's freedom was taken away from them. Hunger for his freedom became hunger for the freedom of his people to live with dignity and self respect. He joined the African National Congress then. That brought a lot of transformation to him. It transformed Mandela from a frightened young man to a bold one, a law abiding attorney, a lawful person to a criminal, a law abiding attorney or a lawful person to a criminal. When he was a boy, he obeyed his father and respected the customs of his tribe. When he realized that freedom was only an illusion, he protested. Then he was called as a criminal by the white government. When he was arrested, a family loving husband became a man without a home. Then a life loving man lived like a monk or a hermit. Mandela realized that he and his people were not free. They were chained. The chains on all of his people were the chains on him. See the photos. See the pitiful conditions the blacks faced. Before going to the last paragraph of our lesson, let's learn who is an oppressor and the oppressed. Oppressor means a person or group of people treating another person or group of people cruelly. Oppressed means people who are treated cruelly by someone. For example, when Mandela and his comrades were in prison, they were treated cruelly by the guards. Here, guard is oppressor and Mandela is the oppressed. Mandela pointed out that a person is not free when his freedom is taken away from him. In the same way, a person who takes away the freedom of others are also not truly free. Because a man who takes away another's freedom is a prisoner of hatred, prejudice, and narrow mindedness, which means he lost his human values. So, both oppressor and oppressed should be liberated. In the case of Mandela, being the oppressed one, he needed to be liberated or free from apartheid or from jail. But whites, the oppressor, needed to be liberated from hatred, prejudice, and narrow mindedness. Let's conclude this lesson by quoting Mandela. The greatest glory in living is not in falling, but in rising every time we fall. Thank you.